Yes, Prabhuji. So when you're ready, kindly start with invocation prayers. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Brahmabhuta Sannatma na sochate na kankshate samaha sarveshu bhuteshu matbhaktim labate param.
One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatpataham tato mam tatabato gnatvam vishate tad antaram.
One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God.
Sarva karmanye api sadham kurvano mat vyapsrashaham mat prasadat apnotim shashvatam padam avyayam.
Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace.
Chetasa sarva karmani maye sanyasa matparaham buddhi yogam upashritya machitta satatam bhava.
In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me.
Makchitta sarva durgani matprasada tarishyasi atachetvam ahankaram nasrosyasi vinakshayasi.
If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost.
Yet ahankaram astriyam na yoshe iti manyase mithyasi vyapsyasya tem prakritistvam niyokshati.
If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare.
Swabhavagnetna kaunteya nibadaha svena karmane kartum neshasi yat mohat karhyasi avasho apitat.
Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti.
Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam hridesho arjuna stitaha stati Bharyamam sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya.
The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated on a mission made of the material energy.
Tam eva sharanam gacchad sarva bhavena bharatam tat prasada param shantim stanam prapshyas sashvatam.
O son of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode.
Iti te jnanam akshayatam guhyat taram mayam vimrshyasyad ashenam yachasi tatak kuru.
Thus, I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do.
Sarva guhyatma bhuyaham shrenu me paramam vachaham isto asime dhritam itim tato vakshyami te hitam.
Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit.
Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyachi mam namaskuru mam evaisha satyam me pratijane priya asmi.
Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus, you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend.
Sarvadharman parityacya mamekam charanam brajam aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha.
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
Idam te natpakshayam nabakteha kachana na chashrusya baksham na cha mam yo abhishniti.
This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me.
Yat itam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidyashati bhaktim mai param kritvam mam eva shashi asamshayaha.
For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me.
Na cha tasma manusheshu kaschim me priya kritmaham bhavita na cha me tasmad anya priya taro bhuvi.
There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Adeyashasya ya imam dharmanyam sambhadam avyaho jnana yagnena tenaham ishtatsayam itime mataha.
And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of our worships me by his intelligence.
Shradvan anushayascha sunayad apiya naraham so api mukta subhai lokhan prapnut punya karmanam.
And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell.
Kachit yataha shrutam partam tvyagne chetasham kachit agnena sammoham paranasta denam jayah dhananjayah.
O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, you have heard this with an attentive mind. And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled?
Arjuna vacha nasto moha smritir labdha prasadham maya chutam sito asmi gata sandehiham karyasche vasanam tava.
Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions.
Sanjaya vacha iti aham vasudevasya partasya cha mahatmanaham sambhadam ivam ashroham adbhutam romaharshanam.
Sanjaya said, Thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end.
Vyasa pasada turtvan itad guhyam aham param yogeshwaras krishnat shakshat katyat swayam.
By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna.
Rajan samsmritaya sambadam imam adbhutam Kesava Arjunoho punyam krisyami cha muhur.
O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment.
Taksha samsmritaya rupam ati adbudam harehi vismaya me maham rajan krishyami cha punaha.
O king, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again.
Yatra yogeshwaro krishno yatra partho danurdaraham tatra shrir vijayor bhutir dhruva matir mamam.
Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Om Tat Satithi Srimad Bhagavadgita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Jana Sambhade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Nama Ashtadasadhyayah. Hare Krishna. Okay, so thank you for a very beautiful recitation. We shall move to the next part of our program, Japa meditation. So before we recite chant, can I request any dear devotees? Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So 3 times, then we shall start the japa. Any volunteers would like to do it? Yes, Mataji, yeah, please.
Jaya Sri Krishna, sorry. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, if anyone has not yet completed the chanting, so kindly complete the chanting in the behind. And also kind request, if you are chanting, you can kindly unmute and chant as well, like in the morning. That is encouraged and suggested. Okay, so that is japa. So if you are all happy, and then we shall move on to the next part of our program. It is the Kirtan. And so today it is Kirtan by Bhaktini Sharanya Mataji and His Grace Nimai Prabhuji as well. I hope. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna devotees.
Hare Krishna. When you're ready, Mataji, so kindly start the kirtan. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale
Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine
Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamin Idinamine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paschatya Deshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrenta
Jaya
Jaya
Sri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya
Jaya
Radha
Radha
Madhava
Madhava Jaya
Jaya
Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari
Jaya Yashodhanandana Bhaja Jana Randana
Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodhanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamunatiravanachari
Yamunatiravanachari
यमुनातीरावनचारी
यमुनतीरावनचारी
जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Govinda, Jaya Jaya Gopala, Jaya Jaya.
Jaya Govinda, Jaya Jaya Gopala, Jaya Jaya
Govinda, Jaya Jaya Gopala, Jaya Jaya.
Govinda, Jaya Jaya Gopala, Jaya Jaya
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda, Jaya Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda, Jaya Jaya
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda, Jaya Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda, Jaya
Hare
Jaya
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, devotees.
Please
Very
come.
nice, Mataji. Very nice,
Nice.
Prabhuji. Wonderful. Very nice.
Very nice. Thanks, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Very
Very
nice voice. Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice Kirtan. Okay, so and Hare Krishna Dena Sreshta Mataji, Hare Krishna Smriti Karna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhavati Mataji, and Hare Krishna Ratan Prabhuji, and Hare Krishna Gauringi Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare
Sorry,
Krishna
Guru.
Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Hare Krishna everyone, Dandat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all devotees.
Okay.
Prabhuji, may I proceed Mangalacharan?
Yes, Mataji. So when you are ready, so kindly start the Mangala.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. Prabhuji. Thank you. All devotees, Dandat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuruna Milantam Jnana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapinayana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sopada Antikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Guruna Vaishnavascha Shri Rupa Sagra Jata Sahagana Raghunatha Anvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padhana Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Anvitancha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatapate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanu Sute Devi Prananami Hari Priye Panchakalpadya Ruveshya Kripa Sindhu Evasya Patitnam Pavanevyo Vaisnavevyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Very
Bol.
beautifully sung all the Mangalacharan prayers. Thank you so much. Okay, so next one is Premadvani prayers. I request me Prabhavati Sachi Mataji. Would you like to do the Mangalacharan prayers? Sorry, Premadvani prayers.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shata Sri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki
Jai.
ISKCON Acharya, Savior of the whole world, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Nitya Leela Parivishta His Divine Grace Gaurakishore Das Baba Maharaj ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki
Jai.
Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki
Jai.
प्रेम से बोलो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय
Jai.
मथुरा धाम की
Jai.
वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
नवद्वीप धाम की
Jai.
मायापुर धाम की
Jai.
जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की
Jai.
गंगा मई की जय यमुना मई की
Jai.
वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की
Jai.
सामवेद भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की
Jai.
महायज्ञ संकीर्तन की
Jai.
निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी
Hari Hari Bol.
all Gurish assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all Gurish assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all Gurish assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all Gurish Sri Guru and Gaura Sri Gauranga all Gurish Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. So nicely led this Premadvani prayers. Very beautiful. Okay, so we are all happy. So next part of our program is the Bhagavadgita by His Grace Krishna Kesava Prabhuji. So we have got Prabhuji here. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. And very nice to see you here in our Sangha. And also Dhanvat Pranam to my humble obeisance to your respected parents.
Thank you.
Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji as well. If Mataji is there.
Yeah, Mataji's coming in a minute. She's busy just finishing something.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So now, yeah, we are going to start Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
And the
Shall I
session.
begin?
Yes, Prabhuji. So yeah, the session is yours now. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
can you just give me, okay, that's fine. I'll begin now. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just begin with a short prayer, if I might, because today we're obviously discussing Bhagavad-Gita. So I'd just like to seek the blessings of our Acharya, Guru Maharaj. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminite Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatare Shitarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pungam Langaite Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Nitaranam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Can you hear me all right? I still have a very bad throat, so I'm hoping you can all hear me okay. I will ask a few people to read today, and you can help my voice. Okay? Thank you.
And if you want me to share the screen, please let me know, Prabhuji.
I can share from here, yes?
Okay,
yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, make it available for me to share. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, I believe you're discussing now chapter 18, verses 60 to 62. So this is chapter 18, the final chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, where our Lord Krishna, Shri Krishna, gives us an overview of the Gita. And he also stresses that devotional service or bhakti is the ultimate goal of our lives. That loving surrender to Krishna, that's what he's trying to explain here. Now, you got up to verse 60. I guess it's worth mentioning that verses 56 to 66 is 10 verses. Krishna summarizes bhakti in those 10 verses. Well, actually, he summarizes pure bhakti and how we should always act in Krishna consciousness. In other words, we should work in Krishna consciousness or in the spirit of keeping Krishna in our lives all the time. He should be present in all our activities. That's his message here in these verses. So to recap, just so that we get a context, can I have somebody read the next slide, which I'm about to share? Yeah, if somebody could read this. This is verses 56 to 59. So we have a summary, so we know where we got to. But I put the verses side by side so you can hear it like a flow of conversation. And then that will help us to understand what's happening next. Would somebody please read this?
I will read, Prabhu.
Please carry on.
Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode of my grace. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotion service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare.
Thank you so much, Sridhar Prabhu. So you can see now where we've got to. So let's then discuss. He's taken us up to this point and he's directed Arjuna that you have to act according to my directions, nobody else's. Otherwise, it's not going to work how you feel it's going to work, because you're going to be compelled to act by your own nature. And this is what Krishna then comes on to talk about in, of course, the next verse, which is, would somebody like to have a go at this verse, or shall I read it? Okay. Yes, Prabhu, please.
Swabhavadena kaunteya निबद्धः स्वेन कर्मणा कर्तुं नेच्छसि यन्मोहात् करिष्यसि अवसोऽपि तत्. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we can link the summary that Sridhar Prabhu just read and this verse. We take verses 59 and 60. Krishna points out to Arjuna that even if he chooses not to act because of his ahankara or his false identity, according to Krishna's instructions, due to his temporary confusion and illusion, Arjuna's temporary confusion and illusion, or his mohat, his nature, by his own nature and circumstances, he will be compelled to act. He will be pulled against his will, his avasha. This is a reminder to us of the inescapable nature of our prescribed duties in life, or dharma. It's there, it's ingrained into our lives. We can't escape it, we can't escape our nature. However, if we work in Krishna consciousness, then anything is possible. So Krishna tells Arjuna that he is bound by the actions that will inevitably arise from his svabhava karmana, or his kshatriya nature, and also the modes of nature, the three gunas. In other words, it doesn't matter what you do, you will work by your nature anyway. Arjuna is a kshatriya. His nature is to fight. Even if he feels now he doesn't want to fight, he will be compelled to fight because of his nature. So better he fight under Krishna's directions than in any other way. There is a takeaway in this verse. And the takeaway is this: if we want to stay safe and we want to stay focused in all situations, we can voluntarily act according to Krishna's directions, because he can help us to navigate our destiny rather than being compelled to act irrationally by the influences of the modes in which we are situated. Does that make sense? Okay. So moving on then to the next two verses, Krishna expands it on what he's just said in the next two verses, because he can still see that Arjuna is struggling. You know how that feeling when your dad or your mum tells you off and you look and say, yes, yes, yes. You know what they're saying is true, but underneath you are thinking, I'm right. So this is going on. So Krishna has to push Arjuna gently a little bit further. And he does this in the next two verses. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe rujna tishtati brahmanayam sarva bhutani yantrarudani mayaya. Sorry, Prabhu, can you read this translation, my voice? Thank you.
The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy.
Thank you. Would you like to do this verse for me?
You want me to read Sanskrit verse, Prabhu? Or?
If you can, yes, please.
Okay. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tas prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shasvatam. O Ocean of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. Thank you.
Yes. So it's interesting. In the in verse 61 there, let me just go back to it. He says, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all the living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the eternal energy. Cast your minds back to chapter 15 Verse 15. Krishna says to Arjuna, now what does he say? It's escaping me. Sarvasya chaham hridisa nivishto, that I am seated in everybody's heart. Matta smritir jnanam apanoham cha, that from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And he goes on to explain that actually you can know me through the Vedas, but I wrote the Vedas. So that explains why I'm in your heart, because I can reveal it to you. Right? And he repeats himself here in verse 61. So he said, I'm already in your heart. Srila Prabhupada explains to us that the Supreme Lord, in his Paramatma feature, the Super Soul, he guides all the living entities from within our hearts. He observes our actions, just like a machine operator who is controlling a mechanical device. He explained this in the purport. But he also says in a lecture in New Vrindavan, September the 5th, 1972. Can somebody read this for me?
So Bhagavata says, Yasyatma buddhihi kunapetri dhatuke. I am not this body. This is a vehicle. Just like we ride on a car, drive car. So I am not this car. Similarly, this is a yantra, car, mechanical car. Krishna or God has given me this car. I wanted it. That is stated in the Bhagavadgita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati, Bhagavadgita 18.61. My dear Arjuna, the Lord as Paramatma is sitting in everyone's heart. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantrarudhani Mayaya, Bhagavad Gita 18.61. And he is giving chance to the living entity to travel, to wander, Sarva Bhutani, all over the universe. Yantra Rudhani Mayaya, riding on a car, driving a car given by the material nature. So our position is that I am soul. I have been given a nice car. It is not a nice car, but as soon as we get a car, however rotten it may be, we think that it is very nice, laughter, and identify with that car. I have got this car. I have got that car. One forgets if one drives a very costly car, he forgets himself that he is a poor man. He thinks that I am this car. This is identification. Lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam 1.26, New Vrindavan, September 5, 1972.
Thank you, Mataji. It's a beautiful description, isn't it? A beautiful explanation of that verse 18.61 and how all this affects us. But he says something even more powerful in the next quote I want to share with you, because I think it's wonderful what he's written here. If you wouldn't mind again, Mataji, to save my voice.
Okay. These three things, if we understand properly that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, Bhokta, he is friend also. Krishna is so nice friend that Ishvaraha Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati, Bhagavad Gita 18.61. Krishna or the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart as friend. That is stated in the Upanishads. Two birds are sitting on one tree as friend. One bird is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other friend is simply witnessing. He is friend, he is supreme friend, not so-called friend. Actually, he is our supreme friend. He is always trying to get us back to home, back to Godhead. Not only he is sitting within our hearts, but he is descending as Krishna. Lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 1, London, August 6, 1971.
So you can see from this, Prabhupada refers to 18.61 of the Gita in many places to underline the fact to us that Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, in our hearts there guides us, witnesses, and observes. I think that's an important point for that purport, for us to understand that, because then he goes on to explain why it's important We understand that, of course, in 18.62. Amogha Prabhu, would you read this? Just read out the slide. It's the verse, but I've done a bit with the translation, so it's easier to understand.
Tam eva saranam gaccha. Take shelter of the Paramatma. Sarva bhavena bharata. With full devotion, all of heart's emotions, O Arjuna. Tat prasadat param shantim. By his mercy, you will attain the transcendental peace. Sthanam prapchasi shashvatam. And you will attain that supreme eternal abode.
Thank you, Prabhu. So what is the purport here? What is the explanation? It's very simple. The explanation is Lord Krishna advising Arjuna that you surrender to me completely. There is no other way. And Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in his purport to us that by such surrender, we can also attain this spiritual enlightenment, this eternal peace, and therefore access to Krishna's eternal abode. I don't really have, just bear with me one moment. Yeah, I'm just looking at this. In his purports, really, to these verses, Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us that we, as the living entities, we can change our bodies several times. However, as a result of our yogamaya potency, Krishna's yogamaya potency, we forget our past deeds, but we carry over our impressions from one life to the next. And that is part of our identifying nature, and then what gives rise to our desires. Krishna, as the super soul, as the Paramatma within our hearts, he is the knower of our past. He's the knower of our present and the knower of our future, but remains fixed in our hearts as Paramatma, remains fixed as the witness and guide to all of our activities. It is only by his order, Krishna's order, that Prakriti or material nature then fashions us a particular type of body to a particular type of jiva, so that we can then work according to our past desires and slowly make progress on the way home. It's so beautiful how Srila Prabhupada has given this to us. I don't have much more to say on these verses, Prabhu. So a short class, but do we have any questions? Anyone? Any questions?
And also, so this is very beautifully explained, Prabhuji. So, and the summary is very wonderful.
Thank you.
Prabhupada's letters, the collection of those letters. And also here, Krishna is saying, Tameva Saranam Gaccha. Yep, the Lord sitting in the heart.
Yes.
So in this verse specifically, Krishna is saying, Yeshvara Sarvabhutanam Uddeshe Junatistati.
Yeah.
So the Lord is sitting. So you need to surrender unto that
Exactly.
Lord.
Yeah.
And here, do we think that Krishna is separate from this Paramatma? So he is saying Tameva Saranam. So just could you please give more light, Prabhuji?
Okay. So there is an important point you've raised here. Now, the important point is that quite often you hear about people worshipping the Paramatma separately. This is meant obviously for the worship of the Jnanis, the Jnani yogis. We know that Krishna is Bhagavan. He is Satchidananda. He contains the impersonal Brahman, the Sat feature. He contains the feature of knowledge, which is the Chid feature or the Paramatma feature. But he is also Bhagavan. He's Ananda, Satchidananda. He's Sarvakarana Karanam, the cause of all causes. So, although he says, Tam eva sharanam gacha, take shelter of my Paramatma feature, for us Vaishnavas, we take shelter of Bhagavan because we know the Paramatma feature is part of it. So by taking shelter of Bhagavan, we take shelter of the guide, the witness, Paramatma, anyway. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So
Anybody else have any questions?
Prabhuji, I have a small question. Like,
Please.
how do we know that this is our nature of work? Where the Paramatma sitting inside our heart, he is guiding, but still we sometimes end up in confusion. Is that my word? He's directing and we are taking up. But
Yeah.
still the confusion comes. What?
Yeah, because if the Paramatma, see, the Paramatma is guiding, he's directing, but he is not instructing.
Okay.
You have a choice.
Okay.
Choices, we all have a path laid out in front of us with many, many roads. Which path you take is up to you. You must choose. But your nature, the work that you do, the work that you're inspired to do, will come from your past impressions. This is who I am. This is what I like to do. But ultimately, you know the difference between right and wrong. Okay. Now, sometimes we get put on this path where we have a choice to make. The choice can be do the right thing or do the easy thing. That choice is there for you to take. The Paramatma will present you with the choice. You know it because inside your heart, you know this is the right thing to do. But because all my neighbors will be talking, I will do this. Is that the right thing to do or the easy thing to do? You have to decide. And slowly, by making small steps on these paths, we will identify, actually, now I realize I should be doing this. It takes time. That's why Srila Prabhupada instructs us that we may go through millions of lifetimes before we find our way. But consider each and every lifetime an opportunity to get closer to Krishna. The more progress you make this life, the more progress you'll make next life. Simple. The instructions are there in the Bhagavatam. The instructions are there in the Gita. The instructions are there in the Upanishads. One simply has to open one's heart and listen. Everything becomes clear. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for a nice explanation. Yeah.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I mean, there is a Tat Prasad Param Shanti is the next one, as Krishna mentioned. Tat Prasad Saranam Shanti. Some people, they make interpretation wrongly. They think it's not surrendered to Lord Krishna, surrendered to others.
Yes.
So it is in Indian, many people, they are interpreted wrongly. They mention it's not directly because surrendered to him. They think that not me. Krishna is telling not to me, to surrender to others.
Yeah. So Krishna is very clear. I will give you the mercy. You surrender unto me, I'll help you. Even if we don't surrender unto him, he's still helping us. Because ultimately, he is the supreme controller anyway. But it's up to us to open our hearts to him, to hear him. Yes. Thank you for that, Prabhu. Nice comment. Yes. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One more point. So just
Please.
in the 58th verse, Krishna says to Arjuna, Atachetvam ahankaran nasroshasi vinakshasi. So if you just act with your ego, then you will be ruined.
Yes.
So, and here Arjuna is falsely acting. So that is if you falsely act and by ego. So
that's it.
And Arjuna, if Arjuna has got ego, he will be fall down. And question is, does Krishna has got ego?
Does Krishna have an ego?
Ego.
Whoa. That's a question for Krishna, not for me. I couldn't possibly comment because he is the Supreme Lord. Even if he has an ego, he's entitled to have one. He created all of this. He gave me life. He gave me love. He gave me sustenance. He gave me parents and friends and devotees and music and art and science. Who am I to argue with his ego?
Everywhere Krishna says, always worship me, always surrender to me. So
Yes.
everywhere. So here Krishna has got lots of ego. He has got biggest ego.
But his ego doesn't misidentify with anything because it's pure. It comes from a pure place. And that's the difference between, you mentioned something earlier about Arjun's illusion and confusion. His mohat, as it's said in the verses there, in verse 59, mentions the word ahankar and it mentions the word mohat, false ego and illusion. So this is what happens. Krishna can have as much ego as he wants, but Arjun is under illusion and confusion because his ego, his understanding is not 100% pure at this stage. Krishna is trying to introduce that to him. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. So here, this our philosophy, achintya bheda abheda tattvam, it comes into the picture. So when ego applies to Krishna, it is unlimited.
Exactly.
We are very tiny. We cannot just put that ego. Whenever Krishna says, we simply obey it.
Exactly. And you're right. This is another feature of the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Because this Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva refers to the duality. Yes, he is a person, yet he's the Supreme Lord. He's able to provide all this and have an ego, but not have an ego. So yes, absolutely true.
Yeah.
The dualities in this is explained very clearly in the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Anybody else?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll stop there and save the rest of my voice for another time. I'm leaving for India in 10 days. I'm going to start off in Sri Lanka, but if you want some pictures and stuff of the trip, of the holy places, I'll share them with you in the group.
That would be wonderful, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dear devotees, any question to Prabhuji or any comments? If you have got any clarifications, kindly raise now.
So again, Prabhuji, I have the same question, but as you said, like we will come to know after many birth times, what's our real duty or work. So you mean to say that we will be coming to the platform after several births, like we can understand that our service is to only serve Krishna. Like if suppose I'm working as a teacher or scientist or something, so they are all for survival in one sense. Of course, since we practice bhakti yoga, so we keep Krishna as center and then do that. But at the end of, like after several lifetimes, we will practice the same, that's our scientist or teacher, and then we end up in only focusing on the devotional activities entirely towards Krishna. Is that what you mean to say? Like, I mean,
we hope so. I guess for each individual it will be different. You, Mataji, may end up going back to Krishna next lifetime. Who knows? He may say, Mataji, it's time, come home. I need you here. See what he did with Putana. She was a big witch. She came to poison him. But what did Krishna do? He said, she wants to be my mother now, not in a million lifetimes. So let me take her home now. She's having a hard time being Rakshashi. She's confused. She's angry all the time. But she has the qualities of a mother. These impressions are still there in her. No? So he said, okay, come now. Who knows, Mataji, he may think you've done a wonderful job now and take you this lifetime. I don't know. That's a question for Krishna. But the point was that, if we try even a little bit now to keep Krishna in the center of our lives, that's progress. He may think that's enough progress. That's a decision for him to make.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, another question is comment. Actually, in our devotional life, also there is also our ahankar, because it's mentioning about you have to give up your ahankar. Even devotional life, we have pratishtha. And that is also pratishtha is Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning is a poisonous, very poisonous.
Yes.
Even in our devotional life, many we are doing, sometimes it's coming as my pratishtha, my ego, my fame. So this is also, we have to give up, but this is also another kind of ahamkar.
It is. Yeah. And it's not easy to give up because we all like to feel special. We all like to feel wanted. No. You know, we go to do our service. We know are doing our service very nicely. If somebody come and congratulate us, we feel good. Then if several people come and congratulate us, we feel good too. But I myself feel good, but then my head gets big. And that's when when we have this interference of our ego. You're right. Again, these are difficult things to overcome. But this is the opportunity we have now. We are learning now about these things, so we can put these things into practice now. Why wait until next lifetime? We have the instructions. We have, Prabhupada says, Krishna has given us his name. He has given us his address. And he's given us instructions on how to get there in the Bhagavadgita. So what is the issue? We can just try. We can just try. I cannot hear you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Any other questions to Prabhuji?
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So
You're welcome.
You have given your time, valuable time, even though your condition is not great, but still you try to deliver the message of
You're
Krishna.
welcome.
And
My pleasure.
the auspicious Dwadasi day. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your valuable time, and to your parents who has given you the body. And thank you so much to your parents as well, and giving your valuable association. I request all the dear devotees kindly unmute and do 3 loud haribols to Krishna Keshav Prabhuji. And
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
thank you so much, Prabhuji. We pray your health will be good. So soon you will be recovered to normal.
Thank you. So I'm going to leave you now so that I can rest my voice. So please accept my obeisances. Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhu patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, everybody. Please allow me to take my leave so I can get some rest. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Okay, so Hare Krishna, dear devotee. Hare Krishna, Vipin Dasa Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we have got a few readings as well. So for these verses, and I'll be sharing this the screen, and we shall go in detail with the purports as well. Prabhuji has covered as per extent. Okay, this is Bhagavadgita, and then purport. Okay, I request dear devotees, so kindly let us take the turns, and then we recite the verses and continue with the purport as well, so that we cover and complete these verses. So Prabhupada's purports, they shed so much of light, though we have got Prabhuji has some of the letters. Can I request any dear devotees to lead this verse, and then we shall follow the translation and then purport as well further. Okay, I'll do it, and dear devotees, wherever it is possible, you kindly unmute and follow me. Swabhavajena kaunteya
Svabhavajena kaunteya
nibaddha svena karmana
nibaddha svena karmana
kattum nechasi mohat
kartum nityasyan mohat
kashyasi avasopitat
kashyasi
Sopitat
swabhavajena kaunteya
Svabhavajena
Kanteya
nibaddha svena karmana
nibaddha svena
Nibandhasvana
karmana
Karmana
kattum nechasi mohat
kartum
Kartum
nityasya
Nityasya
mohat
Mohat
kashyasi avasopitat
Karyasi Avasopitat
swabhavajena kaunteya
Svabhavajena
Svabhavayena
kaunteya
Kanteya
nibaddha svena karmana
nibaddha svena
Nibandhasvena
karmana
Karmana
kattum nechasi mohat
kartum
Kartum
nityasya
Yasya Mohat
karishyasi avasopitat.
Karyasi
karishyasi
Avasopitat
Much. So can I request dear devotees? Can one devotee take all the synonyms translation purport? It is tiny one. Any volunteer?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can do.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Svabhavajena, born of your nature. Kunteya, O son of Kunti. Nibadha, conditioned. Shrena, by your own. Son. Karmana, activities. Kartum, to do. Na, not. Ichhashi, you like. Jat, that which. Mohat, by illusion. Illusion. Karishashi, you will do. Avashash, involuntarily. Api, even. Tat, that. Translation. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. If one refuses to act under the direction of Supreme Lord, then he is compelled to act by the modes in which he is situated. Everyone is under the spell of a particular combination of the modes of nature and is acting in that way. But anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the direction of Supreme Lord becomes glorious.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, which is
That's
very.
all? Okay.
Yes, Mataji, that's all. It's a tiny purport.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
the Swabhavajena is the material body. It is formed based on the three material modes of nature. So whenever we take this devotional service, Saiva Bhakti Yogakya Adhyatmika Udahuritaha Yena Ativrajyam Trigunam Madbhavaya Upapadhyate. So this Saiva Bhakti Yogakya Adhyatmika Udahuritaha. This Bhakti Yoga, it is called Adhyatmika. And whenever we take that approach, Yena Ativrajyam Trigunam, we overcome all these material modes of nature. That's why Krishna here he's saying, by the bone of nature, we act in the bodily concept of life. If we follow Krishna's instructions, that is called devotion straight away, because he is the compiler of the Vedas. Vedanta Kurud, Veda Videva Chaham. Krishna is the compiler, so we follow exactly the instructions. So, and here, Tancham Baddha Namabihi Balim Vahantim Yishituhu. This is Yatagavo Nasiprotaha Tancham Baddha Damabihi. So Vaktancham Baddha Namabihi Balim Vahanti Yishituhu. So this is all these people, they are tied up to the strong knots, just like the cow is tied up to a big rope, nose thread and a big rope, and then tied up to some rod, some pillar, so it cannot go. Likewise, all the living entities, they are tied up to the Vedic injunctions. So all these Vedas are compiled by Krishna. He is the knower of the Vedas. He is only the to be known. And here, whenever whatever he says, that is called Adhyatmika. That is Bhakti Yoga directly. That is what Krishna is instructing. Pratyakshavagamam dharmyam susukum kartum avyayam. That is very pleasing to the conditioned soul. So that is, so if one refuses to act under direction of the Supreme Lord, then he has to compelled to act by the modes in which he is situated. That is, by the body he has got, that is made up of the modes of nature. So this is very straightforward, and Prabhuji has already given all these details to us. Okay, so any additions here, or we shall go to the next verse, and it has got purport as well, a long purport.
Yeah, Prabhuji, this is very, actually Prabhupada gave purport shortly, very short, but it has very, very long way to go. Yeah. Here is very, very decision making. Whether we'll take our action or not. This is a very vital point, turning point actually. So if anyone is not interested to take his decision right way and not taking action correctly and according to his guna. So that means if my guna is tamaguna, then my work, if I work according to my tamaguna, how it will be higher destination, please?
So tamoguna, abhisandaya yohimsam dhambam mahyaryam evava sambhrambhi bhinna drugbhavam pradrugbhavaha satamasaha. So maikurya satamasaha. So this is the bhakti in the mode of ignorance. Abhisandaya yohimsam, the devotional service directed towards the himsam is the violence, dhambam mahyaryam evacha, and the pride, and also jealousy, and also sambrambi in the angry mood, sambrambi binna drugbhavam, and identifying all the living entities with their material bodies. Maikurya satamasaha, it is in the mode of ignorance. So this verse is Kapil Bhagavan's instruction, and similarly Krishna also spoke in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. devotion in the mode of ignorance. So everything into three categories: goodness and passion. So here, Dambam, Masharyam, Himsa, and Sambrambe, these are different modes that one render a devotional service to Krishna. That is Satamasaha. So this is but Madghunasviti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhasaya Yata Gangambaso Ambudau. This is also says to Devhuti Mata, so Kapil Bhagavan. Madghunasviti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhasaya Manogati Ravichinna Yata Ganga Ambaso Ambudau. That is the devotion. That devotion, it could be in the mode of ignorance. It could be in the mode of passion. It could be in the mode of goodness. But what is Krishna says? The recommends is always in the goodness without any expectation. That is called devotional service. So that is any other additions, Prabhuji, you want to add?
Yeah, you mentioned already. It is also very, very difficult to understand. Actually, in this Kali Yuga, people are in the mode of goodness and not mode of goodness, mode of ignorance, mode of ignorance. Even myself also, whatever we are doing, we have everything is a hindrance. Everything is we cannot progress properly because a lot of limitations, a lot of lack of knowledge. This is the Mandabhagya in the college of nature of this age. So, and as well as other facilities, we are not developing right facilities to progress in the spiritual life. In that case, so it is my guna. It is my guna is a mode of either mode of passion is a higher level, but is mostly in my case tamaguna. So how to promote? Main thing, my point was how to we can progress according to direction of law.
So this one, it is only through the medium of the devotees. The devotees, they wander around the world. जनस्य विमुखान् जनस्य कृष्णात् विमुखस्य देवात् अधर्मशीलस्य सुदुःखितस्य अनुग्रहेः चरन्ति नूनं भूतानि भव्यानि जनार्दनस्य. That is our purpose. We are here to go and awake the conditional souls. We are all the soldiers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, and on behalf of Guru Parampara, we go and awaken the conditioned souls. That's why all these acharyas, they wander around the world without any expectation, to awake. That is the only medium. Otherwise, people in the mode of ignorance, they cannot do anything by themselves. They are completely tied up. Completely tied up. कार्यकारण कर्तृत्वे द्रव्य ज्ञान क्रियाश्रयाः बध्नन्ति नित्यता मुक्तुं मायिनं पुरुषं गुणाः. They are completely tied up by the money. Karya karana katrutve dravya jnana kriya asrayaha. They know how to spend money, how to look after the family, how to sense gratify. They have got that knowledge, even though they are not the body. Because they know how to spend all these things, they're completely tied up. They cannot progress the spirituality that much easily. But it is only through the medium of other devotees. Otherwise, they have to go to the pilgrimage places and hear the instructions from the holy men or the pure devotees of the Lord. Then only, otherwise, it would not happen in the people, for the people in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It has to be by chance or by some sukriti, and as well as by Lord arrangement. Otherwise, it cannot be happening. Lord arrangement means it will have to some pious activities in either previous lives. Otherwise, it cannot be as a mode of ignorance or mode of goodness. It cannot be. Even mode of goodness also. It was mentioned, we have to come to pure goodness. So as well as even there is another example, chapter 10 also. Sorry, canto 10. Even Kalyana, he was telling, Lord, you gave us even Kalya Putni, Kalyanag Putni, wives of Kalya. They mentioned, Lord, you gave us only this knowledge, only this power, how to become envious, how to destroy others, because he was doing raping Krishna through there. So we cannot do other service, and we can give poison to you, we can harm to you, not to any help to you. And even Krishna was happy. Even this time Prabhuji was telling, even Putana came and Krishna accepted his service. It is Krishna is merciful. Do something for Krishna. Even Agashura, that is another example. Agashura, it was, he was decorated nicely, but it was big snake. But due to Krishna Shaka, his friends of Gob Balaka, Gob boys, coward boys, they are happy to see such kind of mountain, very nice, and they it was actually how to trap Krishna and his friends, and at the end he got liberation. Why he was get liberation? Only because he gave some pleasure to Lord Krishna's devotees. Actually, who were they? The coward boys. He gave pleasure to them. So due to only this service, he got liberation. So somehow we have to do some service, although it was a wrong purpose, but if it is some good purpose, it will be ultimately very good. The result will be very high. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So that is just rendering little service to any devotees directly and to the Lord and his associates. Then that way he would accumulate that punya karma, and then he'll come to Krishna consciousness in due course of time. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Okay, so we shall do the next verse. I request here all devotees, kindly unmute wherever it is possible and follow me. ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां
सर्वभूतानां
हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति
हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति
भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि
भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि
यन्त्रारूढानि मायया
मायया
ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां
ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां
हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति
हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति
भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि
सर्वभूतानि
यन्त्रारूढानि मायया
यन्त्रारूढानि मायया
ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानि
ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानि
हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति
हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति
भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि
सर्वभूतानि
यन्त्रारूढानि मायया
यन्त्रारूढानि मायया.
Thank you so much. So can I request any devotee to read synonyms, translation and purport?
Ishara. This someone can respond or I can do. Yeah. Ishara.
Iswara,
No, you can respond the English one. Ishara.
the Supreme Lord
Sarvabhutanam.
of all living entities,
Hrididesha.
in the location of the heart,
Arjuna.
O Arjuna,
tishtati
resides,
Brahmayan
causing to travel
Sarvabhutani
all living entities
Jantra
on a machine
Arjuna Arudhani
being placed
Mayaya.
under the spell of material energies.
The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of the living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. Arjuna was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was conformed to the limited discretion. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, or He Himself, Krishna, as the localized Super Soul, sits in the heart directing the living entity, living being. After changing bodies, the living entity forgets his past deeds, but the Super Soul, as the knower of the past, present, and future, remains the witness of all activities. Therefore, all the activities of living entities are directed by the super soul. The living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of super soul. As soon as a living entity is placed in a particular, oh my God, can someone carry on, please? Sorry, I am.
Okay, I can continue. As soon as the living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person seated in a high-speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car. Though the living entities, the drivers, may be the same, similarly, by the order of Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction of the next verse. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, and thank you, Prabhuji. So here, Krishna is saying, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Uddeshe Dhunatistati. So, Ishvara, the controller, he is sitting in the heart of all the living entities, and he bewilders. Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudhani Maya. How one, so it is like a Yantra Rodhani. So this is Bhutendriya Antahkarana Pradhana Jiva Sanjita Atma Trata Prudakdhrashta Bhagavan Brahma Sanjitaha. So the Lord is Bhatta Upadrashta or Mantacha Bhatta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. He is the witness. And the living entity, he is sitting in the body, and because he wanted to fulfill all of his desires, so that's why Lord gives instructions to him. So, and Prabhupada here giving very beautiful instructions. Arjuna was not the supreme knower, so that's why Krishna gives the all the suggestions. Decision to fight or not to fight was conformed to his limited discretion. Etechasi tata kuru. But what does Arjuna will do here? And then Lord Krishna instructed that individual soul is not at all in all. So, and Lord is also sitting as a localized super soul. This is also Krishna's the three Vishnu forms. That is Karnodakasai Vishnu, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and Kshirodakasai Vishnu. Vishnostu trini rupani. Vishnostu trini rupani. Purushakya anyato viduhu. Ekam tu jagasrastuhu. Dvitiyam twanda samsitam. That is the one is the jagasrastu. Second is Dvitiya. Twanda samsitam. That is who is the Garbhodakasai Vishnu is the Twanda samsitam. Tutayam sarvabhotastam. That is the third Vishnu, Kshirodakasai Vishnu. Sarvabhotastam, he is the localized Paramatma. Tadnyatva vimuchyate, who understands that, he will be relieved. All these Vishnu forms, these are the Purusha incarnations of the Lord. They are also explained in the Bhagavatam, in the third chapter, 1, 2, 3, 4 verses, about the Karnodakasai Vishnu, Garbhodakasai Vishnu as well. So here, that localized super soul, he is the one of the expansion of Krishna. And here, so here Krishna is suggesting to surrender on to that Lord. There is no difference between Krishna and the his Purusha personal expansion, Swa Amshas. They are Swa Amshas. So after changing the body's living entity forgets his past deeds, but the super soul, as the knower of the past, present, and future, remains the witness of all his activities. That is the called consciousness. He helps to retain that consciousness. When the individual living entity, he changes the body. And then according to when that living entity from the childhood onwards, all the circumstances will be arranged so that he will get the similar kind of consciousness in due course of time. And it would continue. Okay, that is, Lord will be awaken that consciousness later on. The living entity doesn't remember anything about his past. But here, that is only through the spiritual nature, from the spiritual nature point of view. That is, Krishna says, Neha Vikramana Sosti Pratyavayo na Vijjate Swalpamapyas Dharmasya Traiti Mahato Bhayat. That consciousness he preserves and it will be continued in a later life. So therefore, all the activities of living entities are directed by this super soul. And he gives all things. And he says what is right, what is not right, but it is our decision what needs to be doing further. The living entity gets what he deserved and is carried by the material body which is created in the material energy under the direction of the super soul. This is yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever the nature he always thinking, that body he would get. And it is under the material energy. Maya jakshena prakritihi suiteha characharam. As soon as living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. Prakritehe gune karmani. So that once again Krishna says, this is a body is working under three material modes of nature. A person seated in a high-speed motor car, he goes faster than one seated in a slower car. Though the living entities, drivers may be the same. So it is very beautifully explained, and also like a car, previously the letter, Prabhupada's letter. And similarly, by the order of Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. So the devotees, when we keep our time completely in the devotional service, waking up early morning and then doing Mangalacharan prayers, and they do duty just because of the duty. That's why we go to work and then to maintain the bodily condition. But that is not the primary thing. So very important, that is not the primary thing. Because we have to carry out our devotional service and to maintain the body, we go to the work. It is a Maintaining the body is a secondary thing. When that conception comes, then material nature understands what is our consciousness, that material desires are not the primary. Then material nature, material nature does not retain the soul within this material world, because we are not interested in taking pleasure in all the material activities. So the living entity will be released from this world by the material nature. So material nature in the sense, Durga Maya and internal potency. So external potency and internal potency of the Lord. So we are always attached to the internal potency of the Lord. That is Radha Rani's energy. So then she will take us to the Goloka Vrindavan. So just only which one is the primary? Because I have work, I have to go, that is important. That means you are giving secondary importance. That means you have to continue in this material world, because you have got a primary duty than devotional service. So material nature will hold back into this material world. So that is where we have to give the priority. Of course, we are forced it, but we have an option whether I need to do it or not. At every point of time, there is a choice. Okay, so everything is according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent, and he is always controlled. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender. This is what the nature is. We have got an opportunity to practice. Ye animitta nimittena dharmena aradayan harim. That is the nature of the Vaikuntha planets. One's constitutional position is always render devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Ye animitta nimittena dharmena aradayan harim. Vasanti yatra purushaha sarve Vaikuntha muttayaha. Ye animitta nimittena dharmena aradayan harim. Then we are eligible to go there. So that is surrender. So we need to surrender our ego to Krishna. Okay, so that is very beautifully explained in this purport. Okay, so we shall move to the next verse as well, and then we will discuss later on. So I request all the dear devotees kindly unmute again. Now we shall cover this verse as well. Tam eva sharanam gaccha.
Tam eva sharanam gaccha.
Sarva bhavena bharata.
Sarvabhavena Bharata.
Tat prasadat param shantim.
Tat prasadat param
shantim.
Tanam prapsyasi shashvatam.
Tanam prapashyasi
Shashvatam.
shashvatam.
Tam eva sharanam gaccha.
Tameva sharanam gaccha.
Sarva bhavena bharata.
Sarvabhavena
Bharata.
Tat prasadat param shantim.
Tat
Tat
prasadat
prasadat paradam
param
shantim.
Tanam prapsyasi shashvatam.
Tanam
Anam
prapashyasi
prasyasi
shashvatam.
sasvatam.
Thank you everyone. So can I request the devotee to read?
Shall I read? Thank you.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Tam unto him, eva certainly, sharanam vacha surrender, sarva bhavena in all respects, Bharata, O son of Bharata, tat prasadat by his grace, param transcendental, sanchita shantim peace, sthanam the abode, prapshyasi you will get, shashvatam eternal. Translation: Ocean of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental space and the supreme and eternal abode. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A living entity should therefore surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, and that will relieve him from all kinds of miseries of this material existence. By such surrender, not only will one be released from all miseries in this life, but at the end he will reach the Supreme God. The transcendental world is described in the Vedic literature, Rig Veda 1.22-20, as Tad Vishnohu Paramam Padam. Since all of creation is the kingdom of God, everything material is actually spiritual, but Paramam Padam specially refers to the eternal abode, which is called the spiritual sky or Vaikuntha. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavadgita, it is stated, Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart. So this recommendation that one should surrender unto the super soul sitting within means that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna has already been accepted by Arjuna as the Supreme. He was accepted in the 10th chapter as a Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supreme Abode of all living entities, not only because of his personal experience, but also because of the evidence of great authorities like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, because in all kinds of situations, one is always Bhrutya. He is the servant of the Lord. Tad Bhrutya. So this is once again, there is one prayer of Mukundamala Stotram. There he surrenders. So I would like to serve your servant of servants very beautifully. Similarly, Dasa Anu Dasa, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So for that purpose, we always serve. So this is surrender unto the Supreme Lord. When we surrender to the devotees, Lord will be very pleased more than directly surrendering to Krishna. And here it will relieve him from all kinds of miseries of this material existence. So this is one can practically experience all this in day-to-day life because of the devotional service. He would not get a time to go outside and shopping and all these things, spend out time with friends and all these things. He would not even get. His time is just livelihood earning, and everything else is the devotional service. Otherwise, until anyone come unto the lotus feet of the Lord, they would not be peaceful. Yesha prapanna varado ramyatma sekya yajjat karishri gruhita gunavataраha tasmin swekramidam sujopiteto yunjita karma shamalam cha yada vijahyam. So this is also Brahma's prayer, and one of the Brahma's prayers, he also says, दैवे नते हतदयो भवतः प्रसंगाद सर्व अशुभ उपशमनाद विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामशुकलेशलवाय धीना लोभा विभूत मनसो अकुशलानि शश्वत. So until one comes to the lotus feet of the Lord, he has to experience all these things until that point. But one should not give a lenience to the small desires. That is, whatever the plans of the humans, it is Loko vikarma niritah kushale pramattaha karmanyem tudute bhodachene sve yastavadasya balvanika jivitasham sajjahchanati animishaya namostu tasmai. All of the human plans will be cut to the pieces if they do not hear to Krishna. This is what we have heard in the previous verses. So, Atachetum ahankara nasroshasi vinakshasi. If we don't hear to Krishna, we will be fall down. That is, Brahma also says in his prayers, if we do not, all of the human plans, whatever the planet is, it will be cut to the pieces. Sajjahchanati animishaya namostu tasmai. Once again, Brahma is giving animishaya namostu tasmai. The Lord in Brahma's prayers, he has got so many names given to the Lord with different names. Adimakaya Tubhyam, Tasmai Namo Purushottamaya, like Bhuvanadhrumaya, Animishaya Namo Tasmai. So many beautiful names glorifying the Lord. He is the Uttama Shloka Charita. So that is the Supreme Lord. So, and then he will be released from all miseries in this life, but at the end of, he will reach to the Supreme Lord, Supreme God. That is in the, this is Tadvishtoho Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Sorayaha Diviva Chakshuradatam. All the demigods, they wanted to see the Lord. Diviva Sada Pasyanti Sorayaha, they are always desiring to see Vishnoho Paramam Padam Diviva Chakshuradatam. This is the Rigveda mantra. Since all of the creation is the kingdom of God, everything is Krishna's energy. And because unlawful of Krishna doesn't want to create this material world. Naitat padam ta naitat bhatarisha padam taveksitam yanmayaha tanuse bhota sukshmam anugrahaya astu api erhimaya lasatulasya bhagavan vilakshitaha. This is the Kadma Prajapati's prayer. Naitat bhatadesha padam tavepsitam. My dear Lord, it is not your desire to create this material universe. Yanmaya motam, but Yanmaya, so he says, and because with your internal potency, you arrange everything for the conditioned souls. This is the material, you go anugrahaya stopyarhi maya. So you live here, you have got all the Vedic injunctions, follow it, then come back. Because they were rejected from the material world because of unlawful desires. But it is not the Lord's desire that to create the material world and put the all the living entities in here. It is the living entities unlawful desires. Naitat bhatadesha padam tavetitam yanmayaha tanuse bhota sukshmam, and giving the particular type of bodies. Anugrahaya astu api yerhimaya lasatalasya bhagavan milakshitaha. And also Lord is always having the tulasi. So when the Lord is appearing in front of Kadama Prajapati in the sky, Ke Avastitam, in the sky, he is standing on the Garuda. Amshadehe Garutmataha Drishtwaki Avasitam Vakyasriyam Kaustubha Kandaram. Very beautifully with all his symbols and decorating, he is sitting on the Garuda in the sky when he was appearing in front of the Kadama Prajapati. So here, this Parampadam, it is the eternal abode. And here, the Padam in this material world, it is the for the present for the conditioned souls who have got unlawful desires to enjoy the sense gratification. So and further, Prabhupada is mentioning about the Sarvasya Chaham Kriti Sannivistaha Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Everything, this intelligence, Smriti, remembrance, Matta Smriti Jnanam, intelligence, Apohanam, the forgetfulness. Everything comes from the Lord. So one should surrender unto the super soul sitting within the means that one should surrender unto Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So here Krishna is already established as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Arjuna and Bhishma Deva, everyone, all the devotees of the Lord and Mahajanayena Gatah Panta and all Mahajanas. These are Swayambhu, Narada Shambhu and Kumara Kapilo Manuhu, Prahalado Janako Bhishmo, Bhalir Vayasa Kirvayam. So these are the 12 Mahajanas. So they have accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the instructions, whatever the Lord spoke, they take it and they spread as they are. That is, Dharmam Sakshat Bhagat Pranitam. Whatever the Lord spoke, they will carry those instructions. Here Vyasadeva and Sukadeva Goswami, they have taken and they have explained it through Mahabharatam and also where Bhagavadgita and also Srimad Bhagavatam, all the scriptures. So here and Arjuna also indicating Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, pointing all the authorities. So this is very beautifully explained. That is the Tam eva saranam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam praptisi shashvatam. That is the shashvatasya cha dharmasya aikantikasya cha. That is the Brahman effulgence, and Krishna is the Brahmano hi pritistaham amrutasya avyasya cha. So he says that I am the basis for that. That is praptisi shashvatam, the eternal all the time. So there I stop here. And dear devotees, so kindly add any additions or you wanted to share and any questions. So we shall discuss. Hare Krishna. Okay, no questions. Okay, so
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, here Arjuna mentioned, in the chapter 10 also, Ashita, Devala, Bash, they are mentioning you're the great. They are as an authority. But in the Bhagavatam, it was mentioned 12 Mahajan. That means Bhagavatam chapter, canto 6. Yeah. Swayambho, Narada, Shambho, Kumaro, Kapila, Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Boli Maharaj, and who are the others?
Vayasiki Prayam. Vayam.
There is a Bayashaki is the Shukdev Goswami and Jamaraj. Yes. Yeah, this 12 is the authority, that the 12 Mahajan. Beautiful thing. But here also it's mentioned Ashita, Devala, but we don't. It is where we can find them. Ashita, Devala.
So these names have already been given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, and chapter 7. So in the 40th verse, it is very beautifully he has explained. Brahma is speaking to Narada Muni. So where is that? Yeah, 40, and then there are so many names have been given at that time. This is the Narada. Although the potencies of the Lord are unknowable and immeasurable, still, because we are all surrendered souls, we know how he acts through Yogamaya potencies, and similarly potencies of the Lord also known to the all-powerful Shiva, the great king of the atheist family, and namely Prahlad Maharaj, and Swayambhu Manu, his wife Satarupa, his sons and daughters like Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devhuti, and Prasuti, Prachina Barhi, Rubu, Anga, the father of Vena, Maharaj Dhruva, Ikshwaku, Aila, Muchkunda, Maharaj Janaka, Gadi, Raghu, Ambarisha, Sagara, Gaya, Nahusha, Mandhata, Alarka, Sadadhanve, Anu, Rantideva, Bhishma, Bali, Amurattaraya, Amuttaraya, Dilipa, Saubhari, Utanka, Shibi, Devala, Pippalada, Saraswata, Uddhava, Parashara, Bhurishena, and Vibhishana, Hanuman, Sukadeva Goswami, Arjuna, Astisena, Vidura, Shrutadeva, etc. Many other names. So this is very beautifully given by Lord Brahma speaking to the Narada. These are all Mahajanas. So it is not only the 12 Mahajanas, but there Yamadharmaraja mentions to the his Yamabhatas. But here Brahma is mentioning to Narada. So not only this, there are many other Mahajanas as well. But it is not possible to mention all the names at once. So it is time, place, and circumstances that takes also priority. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So that means not only 12 Mahajan. Normally we consider like the 12 Mahajan, but we can take also there also our authority. I mean, there are Devala, Ashita. Where is Ashita? Is not Devala, and Sagara, Gaya. Yeah.
Arjuna mentioned Asita is not here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Can I add something?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Yes, as you rightly said, there's not only 12 Mahajan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Dasa, Jiva Goswami, Shyamananda Prabhu, all the associates also Mahajan. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says, these Mahajan are actually greater because they actually came in Kali Yuga and set the example directly what we need to follow. So, yes, there are also many Mahajan. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, so these are all Mahajana Yena Gatah Panta. So we have to walk in that path like Arjuna is walking, showing the authorities and following. Okay, so that's from the Bhagavad Gita. Very beautifully Prabhupada explained. We are now 15 minutes past 9 o'clock. Any other things, final things, or we shall move to the next part of our program, Narasimha prayers. Okay, so thank you so much, all the dear devotees. So now Narasimha prayers by Bhaktini Anaya, so daughter of Nita Mataji. Hare Krishna, Nita Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimbhaya Praladyatyamaratambiye Pradasmatyamartambiye Tiranyakashipudakshaha Tiranyakashipudakshaha Shinanaka naratambire Shinanaka naratambire Tito nashingo narato nashingo Yeto nashingo narato nashingo Yato yato yamitato nashingo Yato yato yamitato nashingo Prahe nashingo Hirare nashingo Prahe nashingo Hirare nashingo Tashimba pare samata dapare Tashimba pare samatam dapare Twamahara twamata hare nakha apuna shimba dharita tiranya nashipu Garavinda Jasanakisa Tanahari Rupa Jayasanakisha Hare Jayasanakisha Hare Jayasanakisha Hare Jayasanakisa Tanahari Rupa Jayasanakisha Hare Jayasanakisha Hare Jayasanakisha Hare
Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev,
Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Madhya, Jaya Prahlad, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Prahlad Madhya, Jaya Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya 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 Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol,
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
जय जय श्री श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की,
Jai.
भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की,
Jai.
शिल प्रभुपाद की,
Jai.
गौर निताय की,
Jai.
and Bhakti Anaya ki.
Jai. It's a wonderful, wonderful.
Haribol,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Because
Nice.
you lost your teeth, is it? Yeah, due to that, it will, I think it will come, yes? Otherwise, you will be old lady.
You have another one growing there at the top.
Your
Thank you.
pronunciation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anaya, and thank you so much, Nita.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, we are 20 minutes past 9 o'clock. So if you're all happy, and then we shall conclude our session for today. And
Before that, we can unmute and say loud, three loud, horrible for Amaga Prabhu, please.
all glories to all the devotees.
Hari
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you. Thank you, Bipin Prabhu, for your joining. Yeah, with your presence, we need your association as well.
Hari Bol, Prabhu. Thank you very much. It was nice to see you all. Hari Bol.
Thank you. Okay, so tomorrow morning after Japa session and after regular session, once again we continue with the shlokas learning and just going inside deep. And the devotees, when you are trying to learn any shlokas, so kindly join and stay.
Which one it will be? Which one?
Srimad Bhagavatam. It is. I think it is 23 verse.
Who's control?
First canto, second chapter, and 23 verse. That one we are going to stress. So mostly on the Sanskrit and learning of it.
Yeah. 1 to 23.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now I'll post that one in the group. So apart from that, thank you so much all the devotees giving your valuable time and association. Tulayamalavena pinasvargham na punarbhavam Bhagavad Sangi Sangasya Machenam Kimutashishaha. So devotees who are living up to that one, I thank you so much. And we shall conclude our session. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa
Hari Namo Namo
Hare Krishna.
Dandavad.